Hey guys, how's it going there? It's That Nerd Ryan, and we're going to be talking about why Spider-Man is my favorite superhero today. So originally this was supposed to be Angie taking a Phase 1 quiz with me. However, with the circumstances of her being really busy right now, I can't unfortunately shoot that if she hasn't seen Avengers. So this video is not as well organized as most of my others, so I do apologize. But I needed to make a video last minute. And I've been planning to kind of make this video for a while now. It's been multiple different things, but now it's kind of boiling down all into one thing together. So we're going to talk today about why Spider-Man is my favorite character. So it all started when I was 7 years old. I wasn't really introduced to superheroes until about then. I mean, I liked Batman, and that was basically it, and I only knew about Batman. Hell, Batman took my binkies away when I was a kid to stop Poison Ivy from kissing people. That was the note that was left behind about why they were taking my pacifiers away when I was 3. So, yeah. After that, my dad picked me up after school one day when I was 7 in 2nd grade and took me to the movie theaters. This was probably the second time I remember ever going to a movie, first being Star Wars Phantom Menace. And we went and saw Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, which really blew me away. I mean, there was parts that I was afraid of, such as the Green Goblin jump out part. Any of the jump scares kind of scared me. But other than that, Spider-Man was my favorite superhero afterwards. Dress up like him all the time. I wish I had pictures, but I don't. But I would dress up like him all the time, jump around, try to act like I'm Spider-Man. And for about 7 more years after that, all I cared about was Spider-Man. I thought everybody else was too big of a jerk to be a superhero and blah, 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 blah. And that Spider-Man was my only favorite. And then when I finally saw Iron Man at 2, it helped me open up to everything and stuff like that. But still, I always liked Spider-Man, and I would always get excited hoping that he would be in the MCU, not knowing about the whole Sony dispute. And Amazing Spider-Man coming out made me think that was even more possible. And it just was really exciting to think, oh, we're going to get Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man inside the MCU and everything like that. And Amazing Spider-Man was actually the first time and only midnight premiere that I ever had going to a movie. And that was pretty cool too. It was me and my neighbor just at midnight going and seeing this movie. And then I think it was literally like 2 weeks after Avengers as well. And then talking about, oh, this is going to somehow tie in all those cranes being in the same alley was because of the events during Avengers and stuff like that. And even when Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out, I enjoyed it. I forgot to mention Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3 as well. I enjoyed those movies in theaters too. And I actually remember the first time I collected all of a series was the Spider-Man 3 toys. And boy do I miss those. However, then we go and we get told that Andrew Garfield's gone, but we are getting another Spider-Man. Which led to my favorite Spider-Man so far, Tom Holland. And I remember just being so excited seeing him in Civil War and just clapping when he's on screen. And then the next thing you know, we are at Spider-Man Homecoming. And why I kind of narrated my reaction through the Spider-Man movies is because of this. Spider-Man Homecoming is by far my favorite MCU movie. And it also has one of my favorite scenes of all time. Which is when Peter is under the rubble and he has to fend for himself to get out of the situation he's in. And if I was able to do one marvelous scene, it would be this. So I am going to analyze it right now just to talk about why it's my favorite scene of basically all of cinema. And that's saying a lot with everything that's happened in the MCU and Star Wars and stuff like that. But it really humanizes the character, which honestly is something that we've not had in any of the movies prior. And even, I would say even Far From Home. But you get this vulnerability out of him. And he's just a kid. The fact that he's just a kid is really, really hammered down here. The whole movie, and even part of Civil War, he's just trying to prove himself to the big boys. And try to be this big hero that he looks up to when he sees Tony Stark or Captain America or stuff like that. And he goes basically stripped of his costume to try to fight Vulture. And Vulture plans the attack and basically leaves him for dead. And the best part is, right after that, he's in tears screaming for somebody to help him. And that's when it clicks of, oh my god, this is just a kid. And it's like, this is a 15-year-old that's in over his head. What is he doing? What is it? And like, you know that he's not going to die, but you still get that feeling of, what's going to happen? How is he going to win? And he's begging for help and everything, and he looks down, and they take from the comic the famous picture of half his face, half the Spider-Man mask. And then that helps him get that strength of, I can do this, come on Spider-Man, come on Peter, come on, you can do this. And he's like hyping himself up, and he gets out of there. And just the fact that, like, we never really see heroes in the MCU have that sort of doubt right then and there, besides Peter. And the fact that he was able to overcome it that fast was, or not that fast, but overcome it at all was amazing and really inspiring. And Far From Home was a good movie too, and I can't wait for No Way Home, but I mean, I really just wanted to focus on that. And that's literally the spirit of Spider-Man. Even though he has the proportional strength of a spider, he can spin webs, he could crawl walls, he has spider sense and stuff like that. At the end of the day, Peter Parker's just a normal guy trying to get through life. And like, he has so many curveballs, and his secret identity is ruining his life, basically. But the fact that he's able to stand there and take it and still be a victor at the end of the day. And I know there's so many stories in the comics where he loses, but he still has that positivity and everything. Is so inspiring. And it's something that you can't get from Iron Man or Captain America or Batman or anything like that, because he's so relatable of just being an average Joe that just came with these great powers. And like, Peter's not rich. I mean, there is a stint in the comics where he's owner of Parker Industries and stuff like that, but Peter's not rich. He's not Tony Stark, not Bruce Wayne. He's not Captain America. He's not a well-known soldier. He's not Thor. He's not a god. He's just an average person. And that's so great to see and so inspiring that it's basically like, you might not be able to have these powers, but you're able to be a hero regardless of your circumstances. And that also sums up my closings in all of these videos. I know I change it from Pokemon Master to superhero to Jedi Master and stuff like that, but it boils down to the same message that Spider-Man has, of that we're all superheroes on the inside. That we all have this positivity on the inside that can help change the world. And it's really inspiring to think about that. And I hope that you could take away from this video that that is true, that you may be in terrible circumstances, you may be in a rough patch right now, but you're able to still make positive changes out of it. For example, for me, I've been at the lowest of the low before with a previous relationship and stuff like that. I don't like constantly bringing this up, but sometimes I do. But I have to address it. So, trigger warning, I apologize. But when in my previous relationship, I had a lot of issues with self-harm. And it's not something that I really like to talk about. I'm not going to get into the details because I don't want it to be too triggering. Because this went from like 0 to 100 all of a sudden. But I had a lot of issues with self-harm. Thank God I don't do it anymore. But being with my ex was so stressful, and the fact that she was kind of the enabler to it and everything, which there's no excuse to do that. But since she's the enabler and everything, I was around her at least 3 to 4 times a week. It was very stress-inducing and everything. But how I dug myself out of that was by starting to help others. And once her and I were separated was the last time that I did that. And any urge that I had to continue doing that, even to this day, because I did it for so long, it's like an addiction. Even to this day, anytime I get an urge, I go and try to help somebody who's going through a struggle right now to cathartically heal myself through them. And part of that boiled down to Spider-Man and like these heroes and everything who all have pain that they have to live through. And Peter Parker's one of the best examples. He doesn't have his parents. His uncle died basically because of him and stuff like that. And he's still able to go out there and save people because it's cathartically making up for letting Uncle Ben die, or having Aunt May barely being able to pay rent and stuff like that. He's doing what he feels is right because he's made the mistakes in the past. And that's what's really helped me with this. And I'm sorry, I'm really choking up because it's really hard to think about that for me. But yeah, so if you could take anything out of this, just make sure you be a positive light in the world, no matter what position you're in. So yeah, it's That Nerd Ryan signing off, and hopefully this closing means really nuance to you guys. But we're all superheroes on the inside.